we move on, I actually want to highlight three specific teams and like maybe go a little bit in depth on the teams. Obviously, we're going to talk about Shopify and Cloud9 because guess what? You have a Shopify and a Cloud9 co-host. And then we can talk about one more team. But I want to give some narratives coming into this split and things for people to really like look at and try to like keep in mind when you're watching the games. And I actually want to just start like let's go in order. Let's go with Cloud9. What are you looking forward to? What's like the narrative behind Cloud9? I see Chad is talking about whether they're chokers, whether they're bad. Like, what is the narrative for Cloud9 coming into Spring Split?
I think Dom, maybe in your interview or on stream, like a lot of quotes have been floated around by him like recently. But I love what he was saying is that he wants to be in a more aggressive team and like specifically Blabber getting in like junglers' faces, doing creative invades, really disrupting the game plan. I think that's what he wants to see. What I want to see is more creative picks. I want to see Thanatos off of just this generic LCK. I'm going to play Gnar, Cassante, Renekton. I want to see him. I liked when he played Sound, and I know that's not going away specifically from like the Korean top lanes. He needs to have a variety because he doesn't have to be the focal point every game. Unless, which I think Jack hinted at in his podcast, he would love to see them more stick to go towards like what B or G do and they like play around the top lane, because even in the finals, he was still getting 1k gold leads in lane every single lane. Even in counter matchups, he was completely dumpstering Doka in lane. Play around that. Like he would, like if you remember when we had Summit, obviously yes, we did get figured out in playoffs. We were ending games like a solo queue. Like when your top lane just gets disgustingly fed and the game's over because he's like 4 levels up on everyone, like when he's playing like the Tryndamere and stuff like that and the Gnar. That's kind of what I want to see, is play around him more, because he is a fantastic player. And I will allude more to this later, but Con asked like what 3 players are on the hot seat. For me, he's on the hot seat.
Thanatos?
I think he has a lot to show because he's consistently in big games going missing, and he's the focal. He's going up like 1k every single lane. You can't be disappearing like that. Like Bin, I know you cannot compare the two, but like if you watch like First Stand, Bin was not going away. Like Keen was not going away. Like Zeus today had a big lead. He wasn't going away. Like these
Perfect was playing perfect. Yeah,
exactly. These top laners, when they get their lead, like they put their foot on their throats. They don't let go.
I will say that I did ask I Will Dominate specifically about Thanatos just disappearing in big games, and he said like in the past, like last year, he really did feel like that was Thanatos. Like he would really shrink in the big games, but this year, specifically in this finals, he actually thought that Thanatos was playing fine. It's just the team was putting him in such difficult positions that he couldn't do anything, and he even gave examples, which is why I really enjoyed my discussion with Dom, is because it wasn't just like a generic, like, oh no, I think he's doing fine. It was like, oh no, if you look at this specific example, like, oh yeah, last year he was doing that. But then this year, if you look at the second game where he goes bot lane, gets, them a lead, ends up like throwing away his lead in order to help the team. So like he did do a good job at like expressing how the gap in the jungle and the mid lane was causing a lot of issues in game, and like no amount of lead in top lane can like really fix that.
Mm-hmm.
So I am going to keep my eye on Thanatos, because that is something that I also have been talking about, where it's like, why is it that when it comes to the big games, because I specifically meant like he got solo killed by Dokla, and then he was like, well, the solo kill last year against Fudge was very different. He just got dry solo killed Aatrox and Gnar, whereas this time he had gotten Dove and like he was already behind when he got solo killed, so it's not exactly the same thing. So I can see improvement from Thanatos, but I can also see why you're putting him on the hot seat, because if you're putting that many, if your whole idea is Thanatos is this god, right? He is like literally Thanos in the top lane, and then when it matters, he goes from Thanos to Toes. Like that's not cool. For me, for Cloud9, the main thing I want to focus on is, are we seeing a Cloud9 that is more aggressive with their leads? And do they know how to adapt to play behind? It is very strange to me that you have a lot of veterans. You have 3 veterans and two people with like relatively good experience at this point, Thanatos and APA. Like when you have Sven, Vulcan, and Blabber, you should know how to play from behind. That was something very strange to me, where like they just get lost when they're behind because they're ahead, but in scrims they're not always ahead, so they should learn how to do that. For me, it's like, is this team going to keep being soft, where if they fall behind, they just lose the game and they can't adapt at all? That's what I'm looking, because like I feel like the past few years, Cloud9 has been a very soft team, and I want to see them not be soft anymore. Like it's getting boring at this point. You know, it was fun hating on Cloud9 for a little bit, but now it's just sad. You know?
Yeah, I just don't think right now, even if we don't make MSI, like I still can't see the team making changes. Because if you actually look at the rest of the pack, can you confidently say, okay, and yes, we still have to get the data from this split, but like right now, I'm not confidently saying that any team is gonna like overthrow us to take third spot. I know I've said that the past 2 years, like, but I'm more confident just looking at the state of the teams right now, and obviously games will completely maybe change that narrative, but I'm not having the Vulcan thing. Like, you can go at any player. I'm not having Vulcan this year. Like, it's just rage bait, and I'm not even gonna entertain it after that.
That's so funny. Chat has been fun today. Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to move on from Cloud9. I do think that on paper, you guys should be a solid like top 3 as of right now. If you guys improve, if you fix your issues, I do think you guys win. Like, let's just be honest. This Cloud9 team is made to win.
The thing is, Cloud, in that second game, I think it was the second game that we lost.
The Nocturne Annie game?
Right. We still had opportunities to win that game. Every single game in that series was winnable. I know it looked like in the end that Lion ran away with it, and like
the Vi Trundle. Like, game 4 was, I don't know about, but game 2s and 3 for sure. Like the Vi Trundle game, yes. The Annie into Ari, yeah, you had opportunities.
The problem is that we had in that game that we had abysmal early games that just put us in a completely like terrible position that like an inspired team will know how to win from.
But Marn, you are forgetting about a very important area that apparently Cloud9 just like forgot about. America's Cup. You guys had like 10,000 gold leads that you were throwing. This was not the Cloud9 that we saw.
One game.
Dude, games 1, you got stomped. Game 2 was close, and you guys just like, they outclutched you. Game 3, you had the biggest lead on Earth, and you still lost. Like, you lost from every position possible, from behind, from even, and from ahead.
Yeah.
So like, that does make people have less confidence.
So we don't have to worry about it, do we?
All right, we can move on. We don't have to get into this Cloud9 like debate. But so for the second team I want to highlight is Shopify. The narrative around Shopify is we have a team that really should be contending. Like, this team was made to win. This team has a lot of veterans. This team should know how to play around the game. And we have in the mid lane like this super rookie, right? We have the new Chovy in the mid. We have the new Quid. Let's use Quid instead of Chovy. We have the new up-and-coming Quid in the mid lane, who's really good at laning, who should be really, really good at team fighting, and maybe not great around macro, but we have 4 veterans, so he doesn't need to do too much in that aspect. And yet, for some reason, we get leads early and we can't team fight. We can't play around the map. We can't play together. Like, every single part of our game is just falling apart. Weeks 1 and 2, our laning was abysmal. Weeks 3, we were playing incredible laning, and then we just couldn't team fight for the life of us. It's this situation of like, this team needs to show up. You can't spend that much money having such amazing players. We have so many titles between us. Our coaching staff is a really good coaching staff. I know some people hate Revan and say like he shouldn't be a coach. I don't think anybody says that about Demonte. But either way, like, this coaching staff, this team has already showed up last year. We only made one change. How do you make one change and go from finishing 3rd to not winning a single game in a split? It's just unacceptable. And the narrative around this team, you need to do better. That's just the narrative. It's not even a situation where like, oh yeah, we can wait to improve. It's like, no, you came in with the promise that you were going to win, right? You pulled a Team Liquid, or maybe not a Team Liquid, but it's year 2 of your project. It's time for you to win. It's time for you to show up. You better start showing up. And if you don't, then we have to ask serious questions. So that's pretty much the story behind Shopify, the split.
The problem I have is that Contracts is a terribly like slow star in most splits. He's very, very slow. The problem is you guys cannot afford to be slow because you're starting off with Dig. I haven't seen what the order of your games, but starting off when it like this is one of the teams you have to be if you're looking at like playoffs and tiebreakers and stuff, because I do think you're going to be hanging around the fixed six. So I disagree about top two from Con. I think you're on that good one, bro, with that. But I think the problem is we've been down this road before. We're having this conversation last year when you lost to Red. Like the motivation dips and like the what's the word I'm looking for? Like the mentality, like just completely drops. And like, why is this happening consistently now? And that doesn't spark hope for me. I think I think you have some good pieces that you're going to take into next year, but specifically, I'm looking at Contracts who did not have like good year. Fudge didn't have a good split. Okay, no one did, but like if you're looking for change, I would be looking immediately to the jungle, because you can't keep having this where he's either like here or he's like completely down here. I think you just need someone that's going to be like here at worst.
Is that true though? Well, okay, first of all, last year he definitely was consistent. Like that was the thing about Contract, was like, wow, where is this Contract coming from? Like he even talked about how he's been trying himself to be a lot more consistent. So it is something he's working on, and he feels like he's done strides towards that. But I would much rather have someone who in the big moments plays better, which is something he mentioned in my interview with him. He said like, I'm definitely like a bright light merchant. He didn't use those words, but like when the lights are bright, I shine rather than I choke. You know, like there are two types of player. There are three types of player: people who don't care, people who play better, and people who play worse. And he's one of the people that plays better. So I do think that I would honestly just look at our bot lane. Like our bot lane was a big point of weakness, whereas last year they were a big point of strength. The reason we even made it to the upper bracket finals was, B-Boy solo killing Sven over and over, like 2v2 getting kills, playing team fights, his Lucian just winning games outright. Even against FlyQuest, we won that Lucian game. Like he was literally a weapon. You know, the meme that came out when we were trying to sign Niski last year for mid lane, it was like, oh, we have like a monster AD carry, monster import AD carry. And then people were like, B-Boy is your monster import AD carry? Ha 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 ha. This guy was a monster by the end of the year. Like we were putting him top 3, top 2. I'm pretty sure he made all pro. Like he was playing so well. Him and Seus. And I thought Seus was the best enchanter. Like he was the best enchanter support in the split. Now, Engage, I didn't think he was as good as like Vulcan, as Busio. But when it came to his Lulu play, his Nami play, his Melio play, he was so good. And then coming into this split, like they just getting solo killed dry. Game 2 against Jin Karma, like sure, it's strong in lane, but like it shouldn't be solo kill, like 2v2 killing multiple times. Like we just kept losing, dying bot lane over and over. Like I'm looking a lot more at a bot lane than jungle.
Fair enough. I think
but like you said, everyone played poorly, so it's
any one of those players can be on the hot seat.
Yeah. I'd say Fudge is the least person, because I do think like he had 2 bad games. The Renekton versus Gnar, like he lost that pretty hard against Morgan. And then he had a Mbessa game where he had like, I don't know, 1,500 gold lead and did nothing with it. He just like completely absent that entire game. Those are probably the 2 games I look at. And like, yeah, he had a bad performance. And even in the Mbessa game, like he got a lead, he got a solo kill against Photon. Like he solo killed him on the next game as Cassante. Like overall, I thought probably Fudge just fine. All right, you ready for the last team that we're going to talk about?
Yep.
It's going to be Team Liquid. I know people may have thought it was going to be Lion, but I actually think Lion has been talked about enough. I want to look at Team Liquid. This is a team that every single year builds to win. And this year, they brought in Morgan. They brought in Quid, who was like ex-League MVP, super hyped up. They kept their extremely powerful bot lane that was like always ahead. And they brought in a really solid jungler. Like, we were very confused. Jose Dioto, really? But like when we watched him play, it was like, oh, wow, Jose, okay. He's got moves. He's a good player. Mm-hmm. And now it's like the case of having 5 really powerful, like individual players who, if we had power rankings today and we did all the players, I'm pretty sure their players are on the top 20 in the league. Like compared to all other players, maybe even top 15, all 5 of them would show up. Morgan, Quid, like Quid is probably top 2 in his role. Morgan is top 2 in his role. Jose is like top 2, top 3 in his role. Jan is top 2 probably in his role. And then CoreJJ is, well, support is really weak. So being top 2 in support is not that hard. But still, like, they're all within the top of their roles. So then where's the leadership? Where's the synergy? They really need to figure that out. Everybody's saying, like, pointing at CoreJJ and the fact that he is not able to shot call this team when they have leads, because they get leads. They're an extreme version of, they dominate scrims. They get leads so easily. But then if you get leads, you should be able to win fights. That's what I'm looking at. If they can get leads and then win fights, because they consistently chug their leads. They have to stop this. Like, it just can't keep happening.
The thing is, I'm not. I know, like, chat's a big believer in scrims. I'm not, and that's coming from someone that supported a team that's consistently been one of the better teams in scrims, and it means absolutely nothing. Like, even when we got eliminated by, like, you guys and 100 Thieves, it's like we're still one of the best scrim teams in the league. We're still slapping people around, but it's not what you do on stage. I'm never a believer in, like, oh, scrims is an indicator of, like, this team's going to do well, because if they can't find that synergy on stage when the game is a lot slower, then, like, what's the point? It doesn't matter, because you can be, like, one of the best scrim teams to exist. Like, you can have, like, a G2 perfect record in the scrims, but if you can't get over the line, if you can't, like, we're in the lower bracket in, like, winter. Like, yes, format be damned, and they did play Lion, like, fairly, like, somewhat competitive. So they just need to find more synergy, because they looked really dysfunctional. It's quite jarring to watch, because as we already know, like, Core's not the Core of years gone by. So, like, you have to look elsewhere, and the team's not. At least when we last saw them, they wasn't there.
It has to come from Jose or Morgan, because think about it. They changed the roster. They got rid of Rainover. They got rid of their entire top side. The only players that remain are Jan and CoreJJ. And we know Jan's not a shot caller, so it must be CoreJJ issue. Like, I'm sorry, but else do you point at? If you have the same issue on 2 different rosters and you're the consistent, like, member, I do feel like it probably is a CoreJJ issue. And then that begs the question of, like, how do you fix it? Does Jose have to take, like, late game responsibility in shot calling? Does it have to be Morgan? Like, what do you do? Does Jan need to be more focal in game? Does Quid need to figure out what he wants? Like, you have to figure it out, because it doesn't seem like Core can figure it out himself, because it's been a couple years now. Maybe he can figure it out, and then, like, they win the league and they go back to back and they make, like, world semis or something. Maybe they do figure it out. I think they have high potential. Their solo laners are incredible. They have their AD carry is, like, top 2 in the league. Like, they have the tools. They have the ammunition. It's just they got no aim. And until they can figure out how to aim their ammunition properly, it's, like, kind of wasted ammunition if you think about it.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, I think those are the three teams that we want to talk about. We can get into questions unless you have anything else to add.
No, we got one question, but we got to do our fantasy.